just Bernard, if you're on the call there, you can lead us off with the questioning, please. Then we will go to Aisling O'Reilly, and then go to Michael Glennon, and then Pat McCarry. I know you didn't get a shot in on the last one. We'll let you come in then and in the fourth slot, please. Is that okay? All right. Over to you, please, Bernard. Thank you.
Good stuff. Robin, how are you? It's Bernard here in Virgin Media. How are things?
Good afternoon. Very good, thanks.
Good. Oh, good. Robin, if you just give us an update on how the bodies are. Any injuries to report at this stage?
No, there's a few bruised bodies, but nothing serious, to be honest with you. So it's good to get them moving again today. Some of them haven't played for a couple of weeks, so it was good to get that game under our belt, and I think we'll be better for it.
Just looking back on last week and looking ahead to this week, I suppose, what are the work-ons from last weekend, and how much do you need to improve to beat the 5-time European champions at the Aviva on Saturday?
Yeah, there's a fair bit in there that we need to improve on. We need to be able to clear our lines effectively. That was the big thing, really, especially second half, where we made quite a few errors with regards to how we exit, so that we can give ourselves a little bit more breathing space. That being said, it give our defence a really good workout. So defending the number of 5-metre lineouts that we did, etc. That was a plus, but you wouldn't choose to go through that and make it as hard as we did for ourselves. But it was a great challenge. It was a good competition, really good team. So first time they've lost in a while. So a really good scalp for us.
Just on this weekend's game, I suppose it's the 5-time European champions against a side looking to get closer to winning this competition for a 5-time. Massive crowd at the Aviva Stadium. Is this as big as it gets, Robin, in terms of European club rugby?
Yeah, definitely. They're the reigning champions, aren't they? So they're going to want to keep hold of the silverware, and having had that experience last season, they'll be keen to do it again. So, I thought there was a hunger and appetite about them up front, definitely against Munster. Set piece again is going to be a crucial battle, really. So, scrum, line out, up front, and obviously they've got the threats behind. So it's another step up, I think.
Thanks for being best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi Robin, Aisling here from Off the Ball. How are you?
I'm very good, Aisling.
Good. How much of a boost is it to get the home advantage of the Aviva Stadium? It really helps in terms of getting over the line.
Yeah, definitely, and that's been the message from day one, really, right at the start of the season, when we were looking at the season in its entirety and where we'd like to be. So we knew that every point counts, effectively. So to get to this stage and to be in the situation that we are, it's fantastic, really. So, we can't take anything for granted. I mean, it's going to be a tough ask on Saturday again against a quality team. But to have all those fans in the stadium behind us, I think it'll give us that added boost, So I've heard tickets are going well, so hopefully we'll get a full house there, who knows. But it'd be great to get that sort of 16th man feeling behind us again.
And it's an all-French semi-final is for Leinster, so you're flying the flag for Ireland, and it also just shows the dominance of the French teams.
Yeah, they've got strength and depth, haven't they? They've got a healthy sort of league that they've got there. I know there's quite a few international or quality players sprinkled amongst the top 14 as well. So yeah, it's a week in, week out, big test for them, really. So the top 14 is there's no easy games. But there we are. We're in the situation that we're in, and we'll give them a fair go on Saturday.
Brilliant, Robin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Robin. How's it going? It's hard sometimes to keep up with the return to play protocols. But the two guys who went off for the HIAs, are they still in the running for selection if they meet their targets during this week? And is that contact by Thursday, or what's the story with that?
Yeah, no, I think they'll both be good to go once they've returned, once they've gone through the procedures. So hopefully we can welcome back this week.
Very good. And I know you've in your journey so far, you've kind of played a French third-string team who were sent over. You've played an Irish team in Connacht. You played Bath as well. What was the difference in playing a team like Leicester away from home, who are top of their league? Was there a bit more in it? You know, did you take something more out of a victory against a team who are kind of higher up on the pecking order, going by league tables?
I think it's a unique setup in Welford Road. You know, it's a small pitch. You've got the crowd on top of you. They did have a flash flood 2.5 hours prior to kick-off because the pitch was soaking. But it's a one-off. You know, they do what they do very well, and they're in control of the complete environment there in Welford Road. So you know, we knew that it was going to be a big test for us up front. Their driving maul is going particularly well. The number of penalties they win from a scrummaging point of view. They put a lot of emphasis on kick chase. So because of the size of the pitch, etc., the number of entries they get into your half is a little bit more than you'd expect normally. And the fact that we were ineffective in clearing our lines meant that we were, we kept ourselves under pressure really. A lot of it down to what Leicester did, but a lot of it down to our errors as well. So, yeah, it's an unique environment there, you know, and until you step onto that field and you get that feeling of being in a cauldron, I think the boys equipped themselves, you know, first half brilliantly, because you can't recreate that feeling in training. So to have the whole crowd on top of you, etc., it really is, you know, it's like I said, it's a cauldron there. So you're up against all the elements. So to come through, really, really pleased.
Just a quick one, final one for me. Toulouse, they obviously played 100 minutes. They had a few kicking extra. They're going to have to fly twice. Sorry, they're back in Dublin again. They have a top 14 match the week after, and they're just, you know, they're on the cut line from the playoffs. And are you able to take that into account in terms of tactics, thinking how tired they might be, and does that play into tactics when you're coming up with a game plan?
It depends how you use them, really. But you know, professional era players are well versed in travelling, having to go back and forth. Like, you know, we had a couple of weeks in South Africa. The journey to and from there wasn't something you could take in your stride, really. But no, listen, it's a short hop over from Dublin to Toulouse, you know. So I don't expect that to play a factor. They've got too much quality in their team and professional setup. They know how to recover. So I'm sure they'll. You know, you can list all the things that are going against you, give you that little bit of a chip on the shoulder and whatever. But I don't think it's going to cut with Toulouse.
Good stuff. Thanks very much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Pat McCarry, if you're still on the call. Yeah. Thanks, Pat.
Hey Robin, how are you getting on?
Hi there.
Just a couple of things about guys that were kind of came on at the weekend for you guys. But Michael Alalatoa had a really big impact when he came on. Like, just kind of what have you made of his impacts, you know, since he's been with you this season, and kind of that kind of you know what a player's going to bring on, and kind of he was really good at scrum time as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. He's got a wealth of experience both internationally and, you know, domestically, coming from the Crusaders. So he's coming from a great environment. So we don't do things exactly the same over here, and it's been a little bit of a learning curve for Michael as well, because, you know, the scrum definitely is both refereed, contested differently here. You know, the battle of the set piece, etc. So, you know, sometimes teams down the Southern Hemisphere are accused of it being pretty passive up front, where every scrum here is contested. So, it's a different mindset. But no, Mike's coped brilliantly, you know, and not just on the weekend. Yeah, he equipped himself really well. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, Rhys came on. Rhys Ruddock, obviously he's got a wealth of experience. Dan Sheehan, the impact that he brings, and and obviously, you know, unfortunately, Keane had a bump on the head, but you know, again, he's got tons of experience. So it's a 23-man game, definitely. So just lucky and blessed to have the quality of players that we've got in the squad.
And then with James Ryan, like, you know, great to see him back, and everybody's delighted to kind of see that back as well. Do you reckon, was there any stage that, you know, it must have been worrying back in the Six Nations with him having to take the time off? Was there any kind of worry that his season might have been done, and it's great just to have him back in the mix now?
Oh, it's great. You know, I mean, from the medical point of view, like we've been led by the experts. So, but it's great. I thought he played really well on the weekend. That's the best I've seen him train leading up to the game. The ownership he took from a defensive lineup point of view, and I think that came through evidently. You know, with some great steals at the front of the lineup there, which really got us out of a sticky situation. So. You know, there's been a little bit more attention to detail with regards to individualising his programme, trying to make him move a little bit better, so he doesn't find himself in certain situations, you know, in a bad sort of body profile, etc. So, but he's worked hard at it, and it's good to see the fruits of all that hard work, you know, come going on Saturday. So yeah, really chuffed for him.